means my mother and father have 11 children. We were 13 people who grew up in a 3-bedroom row house in Edmondson Village in Baltimore. I didn't have any friends. Well, growing up, we had friends, but now it's like having low tolerance for male cow feces and low tolerance for bullshit. I do not tolerate it. If you don't have any conversation beyond, okay, what's the weather, what the Ravens do today? I mean, it's okay to be social, but I need like depth in relationships. So I have a lot of sisters and we kind of chill and parlay, but so that's where I was like, and then when I was in therapy myself, it was so hard for me because my therapist, I like her sort of whatever, but she made me sick because I never had anyone who loved me unconditionally. So I didn't know what that looked like, and I'd be sitting in her office like, in the waiting room, like white knuckled, sitting there like, oh, here she comes. She would always come out, hi, Dorothy, it's good to see you. I'm like, oh Lord, here she go again. You know, I didn't trust her because I didn't have any experience with someone who didn't abuse me or want something from me. So it took me a while to open myself up, to find, and also another part of my story is that I hated all things feminine. I'm married and all that. It's just something, women have a really negative, in my mind, it's like all the heels and the dainty, I was a tom girl boy. So that was a little hard for me. So how do we grow emotionally? We reveal ourselves to others, creating safe places for people to reveal themselves to us. The crucible for relationship growth is intimacy. That is hugely important. If you're not in a situation or relationship where you allow yourself to be yourself fully, all your faults, all your beauty, it ain't even real. Because it's going to come to the surface eventually, but you have to bring all of yourself there. But you have to be in a place where you can trust the other person, because sometimes our information is taken and it is used against us and it's abused. So intimacy is measured by self-revelation. Can I be true with you? Can I be real with you? That's very important. And if you can't find anybody, seek professional help. But growing emotionally starts with you. You have to start with yourself. And so coming to a conference like this, doing things that's going to help you. And if a person is in your life and doesn't tolerate or appreciate or accept your growth, actually, they'll leave you before you leave them. Because as you start to grow, thank you for the 15-minute warning. I feel like I'm at a football game. We have to move on. Spiritual, I'm not going to do a whole lot with this, but I know the 3 things in my life that have helped me to grow spiritually: silence, solitude, and simplicity. You have to be able to sit still and know who you are. I love what Little Berger said this morning about self-knowledge, being confident in yourself. You know, a lot of us, we talked about earlier, are walking on the ends of strings that someone else is pulling. The only person that you ever have to matter to in life is you. That sounds selfish, but it is not. You will never grow and thrive unless you can love, understand, and know yourself first. Because if you do not do that, you will be showing up broken in every relationship you ever enter into. Is it hard work? Yes, it is. Most people can't sit still for 2 seconds because all the demons show up when you sit still. Everything you repressed, everything you suppressed all your life is going to come up to the surface, but invite it. It's crying for attention. You've pushed it down and pushed it down. We do things like we smoke, we drink, we shop, we sex, but we don't sit still. You must do it if you want to grow. All right, so I'm not going to talk a whole lot about spirituality. Everyone has their own path or his own path. I think also important with spirituality is knowing that something exists beyond you. You're not here for yourself. I know it sounds like a contradiction. You know yourself, but you're not selfish. You're here, it's a whole multiverse, forget the universe, that we can tend to. And it's not just about serving our own needs. All right. In my practice also, I say this a lot. If only people always get stuck. If only I'd have done this. If only they were in the past. And that's the source of depression. When you're thinking about what I could have done, what I should have done, what I didn't do differently. This person did this to me. If only she hadn't did this right. If only he had done this. If my mother had loved me more. That's depression. But living in the future is the source of anxiety. What if? This didn't happen. The only time that's real is right now. I could drop dead literally. Prepared. I could right the next second. Nothing is promised to us. I say all the time, life is short and death is long. Live now. What are you waiting for? We try to please people. I think one of the biggest forms of bondage also in my practice is a preoccupation with what will they say? What will other people think if I do this or do that? Who gives a shit? Nobody. When you really wake up and realize that nobody cares, it's written, nobody. Most people are self-obsessed, self-absorbed, and you look in the mirror, you're like, oh my God, my shirt is this, I got this little pimple on my face. I was in the first store yesterday, I'm afraid. So I was in the first store yesterday, I was like, oh God, they got a Second Avenue first store in New Jersey. I was in there like, I ain't gonna tell you how long. So that's a woman, she's beautiful. She had this flowing hair. I'm not sure what culture she was from. And she was obsessing about a pimple on her face, like literally, she was young. It was a one pimple, and I looked at her, I said, your hair is so gorgeous, you're beautiful. She said, oh, I mean, think of, nobody can, they're all in here. So if you can live for yourself, not selfishly, but whatever you want to do it. As long as it's not fattening, no. If it's not going to hurt someone else, if you move through the world, we say with integrity and with love, there's no way you can go wrong. People can like you or not. The other important thing is that you must have boundaries. We don't have boundaries, guys. Our boundaries are very porous. We let any and everything and everybody in, but you have to know it's a complete sentence. I tell people all the time, what part did you not understand, the N or the O? No, it's complete. It has a period at the end of it. Did you have to be apologizing about saying, no, if you can't do it, you can't do it? But this need to please, I have to be this for everybody because it makes me feel good. People don't care. Put that mental, people don't care. They don't. Do yourself. All right. I'm going to keep this up because I got to move. So what we're going to think about the self-care action plan. Think of the physical, the intellectual, emotional, and the spiritual. Okay? Take a picture of that. I want you to think about what you're doing now in these areas. And then what's your new practice? And in that, I can't leave out the barriers because as you try to grow and change, Lord, people are not going to want that. They want you exactly the way you are. So they can either control you or now you're predictable. But when you grow, it's a solitary path, man. That process of individuation. Someone asked about family this morning. No. I have a huge biological family, but family for me is not determined through biology. I think biology is overrated, and we claw after people and like, oh my God, this is my mom, this is my sister, I have to do this, I have to do that. You don't. Your family is where you find love. My mother and I had a horrible relationship until she was on her deathbed, thank God they got transformed. I had a surrogate mother. My mother didn't come to my PhD graduation, but my other mother was there. We get trapped because of these thoughts that we have on our head that just because it's my mother or sister, I got 10 minutes. I love you. 10 minutes. But biology is not defined. Family is not defined through biology. That's one level of thinking about it. But there are never other ways of finding family. Can I do what? To the other one? All right, let's do that real quick. How much time do you spend with yourself? Do you take time for proper rest and relaxation? We talked about that. Or do you drive yourself unmercifully? If you're a human doing, you drive yourself. You need more and more achievement in order to feel okay about yourself. If you're willing to love and accept yourself unconditionally, you will allow yourself time to just be. Just talk about that. You will set aside time when there's nothing you have to do and nowhere you have to go. You will allow yourself solitude, a nourishing time of aloneness. You will take time for hygiene and exercise. You will take time for fun and entertainment. You will take vacations. I love that. You will take time to work at your sex life. Yeah. You will be willing to give yourself pleasure and enjoyment. Terry Bradshaw, look, I love him. All right, so yeah, we did that. You guys, hopefully you got a picture of that. And all right, so right now, I'm going to do something before. How much time do I have? I have to do like 5 minutes? Yes. So I'm a poet, and I write poems, and I set them to African drum rhythms. I coined the term drumetry, drumming, and poetry to describe this art form. And I don't have a wireless today, so I'm going to try to do this using my big voice. Okay, yes, on myself. So I'm a placard collector, too. So I have all these things. Like this one says, Jesus even took naps. For my Christians in the group. Don't look back. You're not going that way. And you're only one workout away from a good mood. All these things from the first one. This is breathe. This is in my office. This is all reminders. This says live simply so that others may simply live. She believed she could, so she did. And my favorite, we interrupt this marriage for football season. My husband, I got that from the thrift store yesterday. My husband's a football fanatic. And the one in the back says, don't forget where you came from, but never lose sight of where you're going. And that ties into what we're talking about family. You know, you can't, ignore your heritage, but you can't be defined by it either. So this piece is called I Love Me. And every part that I talked about today, you should find in this poem. I'm going to have to put this down. The ways. I love you when I'm wise enough to give God all the praise. I love you when I take the time to do the things I like when on a bright and sunny day I go out and ride my bike. I love me when I eat the food that helps my body to thrive. I love me when I wake up in the morning grateful that I'm alive. I love me when I'm tired and I allow myself to rest. I love me when I miss the mark because I know I've done my best. I love me when I honor how I truly think and feel. Thing that's real. I love me when I allow myself to experience all my pain, not to run and hide and repress that stuff that in time will show up again. I love me when I forgive myself for making foolish mistakes. I love me when I get back on track no matter how long it takes. I love me when you criticize me, my confidence doesn't shrink. I love me when I love myself no matter what you think. I love me when you hate me even though I've done no wrong. Your thoughts of me are inconsequential because I've learned to suffer long. I love me when you remind me of all the evil things I've done because the blood of Christ reminds me of all the victories I've won. I love me when you tell me we can no longer be together. The depth of the love that I have for myself is much stronger than your stormy weather. I love me when I treat you well despite your treatment of me. When I love me in this type of way, my heart and soul are truly free. I love me. Please don't think I'm being conceited. I just learned to give myself the love and attention I've always needed. It's taken a long time for me to love myself the way my God has made me done. And there ain't nothing that can separate me from that unconditional love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I wrote that because there was a time in my life when I didn't love myself very clearly. And now it's like, man, it's nothing like it, guys. It's the essence of freedom. If you want to be free, find a way to, not just a light one. Love yourself. It is everything. My life is, I don't care what comes, who comes, it doesn't matter. I'm here. I'm grounded in me. I know me well. And there's nothing I would trade that for. Nothing, not money, because I'm free. Yeah. Okay, so Q&A time, I think. Yes, questions and answers. Please feel free.
I'm from the same neighborhood you come from.
You from the village?
I left there today to be here. So I like village girls, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. I'm in Hamilton now, but yes, so EB is always my home. Any other something? There's a young lady over here with a question. Don't be shy, guys. Just jump up. Say whatever if you have a therapy question or whatever, I won't answer it. But yes, I will. If you have something you're struggling with or something, is holding you back, feel free. Greetings.
That was amazing and beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I'm here from Detroit, Michigan.
Welcome.
Thank you. I would love to interview you on a podcast. We have to connect. That was amazing. I want to share it around the world.
Okay, Okay, well, thank you. Let's connect. Thank you. Question. I do. I have so many. It's terrible. I have a book table out there. So my website, I should have put that up there. See, I'm not technologically savvy. I'll get there one day. But she has a question. I'll get to you. Yes.
My name is Nikki. I'm from Boston. And my question to you is there a way that you can create space for people of color, right? Where injuries are collective, so our healing must be collective. And I think Black people as a collective heal better in groups. And do you have any tips for providers who are providing healing in collective settings?
Yeah, first of all, let's start with here. Big ups to Linton, right? So yes, I still go back to start with self, right? Because you will bring all that energy and all that baggage to that collective. Yes, you will bring, it's inevitable. So in the absence of, I always tell people, in the absence of a therapist or a trusted friend, you have to do the work. You have to do your own thing. But yeah, I always say this, and I'm not the person coining this, but build it and people will come. Obviously, there's such a deep pain in our culture. There's a lot of, I hate the word gaslighting because it's so overused and most people don't know what it means, but there's a lot of pain and trauma. You know, we talk about post-traumatic slavery disorder, all of that stuff. It's real. Build it like Linton did. He had a vision and he said, hey, people come, and that's why we're here. But I still go back to, even interestingly, like even the presenters have to do their own work. Yes. But your question is asking about, answer your question again, because maybe I'm missing that. Because I think other than the simplistic answer of just to do
I said, do you have any tips for providers that are providing collective healing?
No. I don't think, yeah, I'm thinking about wisdom to share. Yeah, do it. Yeah, I mean, you want a magic bullet or something. It's just, none of this stuff happens, you know, just, you have to come up, you do your agenda, you do your concept, and people, when the people show up, I don't think it's, you know, you're managing group. I do groups also, group dynamics, but I don't think there's anything that you can specifically do to say, hey, in this particular group, do this. Bring the people. Also, when I do groups, before I do any group activity, I do a community poll first. I have to figure out what the needs are because I can't assume that just because we're Africans or descended from Africa that we're a monolith. And so I really shy away from saying, hey, do this thing for this group because I don't know what the group's needs are. I know we do have some collective pain that's assumed, but I'm always looking for what this particular group actually needs because what's going to be most beneficial to them. If you want to talk a little bit later, if you have some specific ideas or something that you're trying to do, I could probably give you more suggestions. But as a general thing, no. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes.
Well, I really didn't have a question, but it was more of a comment.
Yes.
You had made a statement about one part of the process of meditating was a little bit difficult. So when you spoke about the options to have your palms face up or face down, and so I was giving thought to most people want to receive things, so it would be, you know, palms up or to sacrifice to give. So I immediately turned my hands down because I was like, no, this is a grounding, this is about me. So it was more of a comment, not a question. But thank you.
And giving and receiving, when you're palm, like when you close fists, you know, I mean, just saying symbolic, I don't know, but for me, open palms, you can give from this and you can receive from this. But if you need to ground yourself, you know, feet on the ground, shoes off, yes, so thank you, yes. Any more questions? Oh, okay, www.breathe, B-R-E-A-T-H-E, holistic, Holistic, counseling.com. Yeah, that's a long one. If you look up Dorothy Adamson Holley, D-O-R-O-T-H-Y, probably go back to the first screen, everything that I own will come up. I'm like, you know, the YouTube channels. I probably had a better way to do this, but I'm going to go into what stops. So someone else had a question?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Where are you?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Good day. My name is Shia Muhammad, and I'm from Brooklyn.
Welcome, John.
So my question is, what is your daily routine? So, for example, when you wake up to when you go to sleep.
That's a very good question. So before I set ground, before I touch foot, I'm always grateful. I start with gratitude. Here's another one of my things. There's always, 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 always something to be thankful for. Always. I don't care how low you are. I don't care how much in the dumps you are. When I used to do the meditation, it's a part of a circle of unity and a circle of thanks. So it's not just the meditation. We do a circle first, and every person takes this placard and we pass it around. You give your first name and you say one thing for which you are thankful. So I'm always operating in gratitude. That's the very first thing I do. The second thing I do when I wake up is I go into quiet time. I don't want to say meditation because that's intimidating for a lot of people. I get still first. Because to do the work that I do, oh my gosh, I have to ground myself first. Because otherwise, I won't be good to other people. I pray for every single client I'm going to see. I pray for our work together for that day, and even before sessions. So people are like, why are you not available? I'm not even here. Because when I'm with you 1,000%. I'm not doing laundry lists in my head. I know some clients, they sit there, you look at all board. I'm with you exclusively. So I do that. I touch with gratitude first before I set my foot out that bed. And then I get into my space. No, I don't brush my teeth, I don't do it, and I go right to my space. I don't care. Sometimes it's just 5 minutes. And another meditation I do? I start, be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know that I am. And I do it all the way to where I get to be. And sometimes there's so many interruptions before I get to be. So I got to start, I got to reboot. Just to remind myself to be still and know that I'm guided, I'm divinely loved, I am trusted. So all of this before breakfast, before all of that, I got to get myself right first. I check in with me first. And a lot of times it ain't going to be no hour. That's a little bit of a luxury. But even if it's 5 minutes, I discipline myself to do that. I never see a client before 10 o'clock because I already know. I'm a late out. I'm up and I'm grinding. I'm doing all my work at night. I love creating when everything's still and everyone got to take vacation when everyone else is here. I'm always doing first in the morning. And then by 10, traffic is cleared. And I do non-traditional where I go to where my clients are. I have an office on Hartford Road, whatever. No one goes to the office. Everyone got spoiled by me going to where I go to schools, I go to homes. And I do very non-traditional work. I do walk and talk with Druid Hill Park. You know Druid Hill? Yeah. It is a nice day. It's always be walking. And walking talk is less threatening because you're not here. Because therapy can be intimidating. Hi, what's on? Like we got to do all this eye contact, whatever. Sometimes it's helpful to just walk and talk. A lot of things I do. I bring drawings to sessions. Yeah. So, and I'm a trauma specialist, so trauma specialist. So, I have a book out there called, I'm just not a club. You don't have to buy the book, who cares? But it's called Talk Therapy Alone Is Not Enough, Creative Practices for Trauma Treatment, because trauma is not stored in the prefrontal cortex, it's stored in the limbic system, that fight, flight, freeze, fawn system. So at the time of trauma, people really often don't even know what happens. They really have no, because think about it. The dog's chasing you. What do you think? That's why people lose their bowel, people pee on themselves, when you're really frightened. Because everything that you don't need for survival, right? Your brain, you don't need that. The energy is going to go to your extremities. It's going to fly, like blood's going to rush to your limbs here so you can run, right? You're not thinking. Sometimes you go from one place to you have no idea how you got there. So anyway, that's a whole separate talk. Yes.
Being that you just mentioned the fight or flight scenario, I just recently came across what is called the Warrior Gene, a book that was pertaining to that.
They can't hear you. Can we get a mic to him? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so being that you just mentioned the fight and flight aspect of the stuff and psychology, I just recently came across a book that for the first time enlightened me to what is called the Warrior Gene.
Enlighten me, because I don't know what the Warrior Gene is.
Okay, I wanted to know if you knew just a little bit more.
Is it a new? I'll do some research on it for myself and for other when I present again. But I've never heard of a Warrior Gene. I can imagine what it might be, but I don't want to speculate. I want to give honor to the person who came up with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'll leave it there.
There's a question that this young lady.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Talk Therapy Alone Is Not Enough. Creative Practices for Trauma Treatment. It's out there, and I should have had no sound. I can say this whole tech thing. And another book I have called Drumetry. All the poems that I've ever written, well, not all of them, they're in this book called Drumetry, Drumming with Poetry. And not only are the poems in there, it's the backstory of why I wrote each one. It's beautifully illustrated by an illustrious artist in Baltimore called Liz Miller. Question?
Hello.
There's two questions.
Yes.
You talked a lot about the emotional aspect that you had to do the work on, and I relate a lot to that. I practice a lot of silence, and I found that after doing the mental work of containing the powerful energies that the emotions bring up and dissecting that, I have moved to a place of now needing to find a place to pull it out. And I have been exploring painting and art more to do that. So I wanted you to talk more about the connection you found in poetry and releasing those emotions.
I wrote a whole book about it. Talk therapy alone is not enough. Creative practices for trauma treatment. So yes, when those emotions build, you will, if you sit for real, you will, and stuff you don't even know is there. And it's, the tendency is going to be to let me do something. And your mind starts saying, this is dumb. Ain't nothing happening. Stay with it. But yes, so, and then I talk about, also, in my day, how, so then I go to work and then I kind of move around. I do laundry. I mean, I'm a regular person. I do, regular stuff. I have a husband and I take care of him. And always people say, you have any kids? I'm like, no, but yeah. And I say, this is not disrespect to you men, but any woman who's married has a child. Anyway, my husband likes when I say that because I nurture him very well. Anyway, so, yes, you have to, thank you so much for bringing that up, because those powerful emotions that are potentially destructive will take you under if you don't manage it. So you have to find appropriate ways to release them. Now, I do African drumming. I have an African drumming nonprofit in the Great Center in the Mental Health and Yards. I go to the gym, I play basketball, I ride my bike, and anything in that poem was true. I ride my bike. What else do? I scream. Oh, I have something called primal screaming. So I'll take a client to drill apart and have that client scream from the top of their lungs. I wish we could do it here. It's the most releasing thing you could ever do for yourself. Primal screaming, when you're not worried about what anybody else is thinking. I also listen to music. I'm a musicaholic. I'm in a band too. I'm in a band called Roses in Ruston, Baltimore. So I play music. I do yoga while in the gym. I'm a gym rat too. So in my gym, they have something called Body Balance. It's a combination of yoga, Pilates, and Tai Chi. And every week I do this twice a week. I can even eat once a week. I do that. I do a lot of stuff that's like releasing. You have to get that energy off of you because it will swallow you. And try not to do this alone. You can do it alone if you're grounded and if you know that the demons will come in 5 minutes, and you know that the pain is going to be there. So you don't run. You have to. One other thing I say is that growth and comfort cannot coexist. They can't. You cannot. Well, I'm not going to say can't. It's difficult to grow and stay comfortable. If everything is homeostatic, everything, when something shakes it up, you know when you've had those experiences that took you way under, but if you when you come out the other side, you have to trust that you will. You will be such a different, you look back. Oh, another thing too, I know I'm rambling. I do that a lot. I love rambling. That's why I'm rambling. Journaling. Oh my word. I journal, Lord help me, from when I saw. I look back and say, so many Dorothys ago, I don't even recognize who she is. Like, I really thought that I really did that. I really allowed that to happen. Yes, you did. So when you can write and go look back and see like who you were and what your evolutionary process has been, it's something like, yeah, and nobody can tell you anything. No one can tell me, and I'm receptive, but tell me who I am. I was like, look, y'all see this big hammer toe? I got a big hammer toe right here. I'm totally free. I ain't worried about that. I put them on. My husband's like, you ain't wearing them boots on you. I had some, I was like, yeah. He said, I'll put them boots on. And so I had to go and dig out my closet, my thrift store shoes. I pulled them out. He said, now there you go. You gonna be on the stage? I'm like, I don't care. I have to be myself first. But I don't have a public persona and a personal persona. I don't, bilocate. I do not split myself off to please, because if you do that, you'll become a chameleon. Because everybody is going to have a different expectation of you. So when you're with mom, you gotta be this way. When you're with your husband, you gotta be this way. Be yourself. Be yourself. If people don't accept that, then that's their problem. But you have to walk through this life as you. But first, you gotta know who you are. Because a lot of us are still walking around as somebody, you're imposters. You have no idea who you are. You never took time to investigate it. So there you go with that. Woo, yes, I am 62 years old. I do push-ups, I do all of that, y'all, so age is not a barrier. Yes. I'm sorry. One more question.
Do you have any recommendation for us black men? It's not easy for us to, just normally do self-love. Do you have anything that can really help
Yes.
us to propel that
It is.
process?
Just do it. See, that's the barriers again. Remember we talked about that? Expect that they will show up. Your head is telling you it's hard for black men. First of all, kudos to you. You came to this conference. That's your start. Sometimes you're not going to have a partner. You're going to go solo, but you are worth it. You're that important. And yes, for black men, for black women, for white women, it's a struggle for everybody. But particularly, I get that. You have to do it. Just like to this young lady who's talking about the group. You have to do it. There's no bullet, there's no magic pill, there's nothing but to do it, and you're going to be uncomfortable. And look at Linton. You got to become the Linton. No, don't even be Linton. Be yourself, bro. You got it. For you to even ask that question means you're already on the path. It takes the courage that Buddha Baruga talked about this morning, that confidence and that courage to do it anyway. And I don't want to sound like a Nike commercial or a Nancy Reagan, just say no or just do it, but it's the truth. You just have to do it. It wasn't easy for me, but I knew I wanted a different life. I wanted to move differently in the world. And then if you have wounds, a lot of us carry so much trauma from our upbringing, like you were dark, or you were not going to be nothing, you just like your father. You heard it all. And so we internalize these messages and we think that they are true, but they are not. And that goes back to the whole biology thing. My mama said, and my daddy said, and my auntie said, it's not true. You were born whole. You were not born unloving. You were born with everything you needed. She told me to stop. She's like, pull this on. Bam! I got it, though. I heard them. I got them closing her head. Stop. Look, I can turn my mic off and everything. Thank you guys so much. Very much. Blessings to all of you. I'll be available on here. I'll keep us time. I'm obedient.
So please again, a round of applause to Dr. Dorothy Holley, y'all. All right, so